Hello everybody, here Joel once again for another tiny tutorial about the LP2. The video we already did until now, you saw me a few times using a MIDI controller. For example, it was the MIDI Baby 3, but now I'm using Morning Star MC3 because with that I have access to multiple banks, so that I can have a bigger array of function which I can recall via MIDI. Let's say the MIDI 3, it's also MIDI Baby 3. It's also a wonderful unit. I like it because it's super compact and quite straightforward also to program. So this will anyhow stay. Maybe I will use this sometimes for a situation where I need a more slicky setup, or also to control other units. On the other hand, Morning Star, I mean, it's kind of like you have more controllability due to multiple banks, which I mean I could program it also to control other units I have here on the house, like the EG Stomps or the Strive on Timeline, whatever. Anyhow, any kind of MIDI controller will do the trick, but I mean these are also both good, so depends on your needs. There's no bad or wrong. So before I start, go also to the Looperlative website. Now we are June 2021. The other day a new firmware came out, the 2.58, which implements a lot of changes and quick fixes. Especially I found out that while using this stretch command, under some on some situation the unit would freeze. So thanks to Bob who checked the software, and now the unit is working flawlessly. I mean, highly recommend to upgrade to that firmware. Okay, back to MIDI. If you check the manual, I have a paper copy because, you know, kind of old school. I like to read manuals and feel the manuals. If you see at the very end, we have more or less three pages of MIDI controls which you can send to control the unit. Most of them are MIDI notes, and I mean, here's the full catalog. Have a look for yourself. What this unit can do. For example, myself, I have this piece of paper which is kind of like my shortcut list, where I have the commands I mostly use and for me are more interesting to work with. So you see track selection stuff, reversal speed, feedback, control, scrambles, wheel fade, undos, and also the stretch and shrink stuff. Okay. The cool thing about controlling the Looperlative via MIDI is that, let's put this on the side, you can combine all these MIDI messages together and send them at the same time to the unit, so that by combining a combination of these you can create something new effects, for example, or also you can adapt the workflow of the unit to your needs, which is, I mean, it's really a great thing. For example, you know, when we have a loop and it's in stop, you can delete it by holding the reverb or the button foot switch, but if you do this, it will delete all the loops. And in some cases, sometimes, you know, you have actually two loops running at the same time, and if I want to just delete that loop which I want, I program it on my MIDI controller, a delete function, which as you can see, this one, as you can see, is a combination of many things. First the track arrays, and then to be sure the track is really void, I have few other MIDI messages to set back the feedback to 100%, set it back to the original note, and also be sure that the level is to unity, in case I apply a fade out to the track, no? So in this case, if I go here and I hold the button, you see it's blue. I'm deleting only the track, and everything, every effect which was before back on this track is also resetted to the original point. So I have a white track to start with. So let's delete this one too. Then, for example, another thing I programmed, it's fade out and fade in and fade out for the track volume, and I mean, I was using the original fade and swell commands you have in from the manual, but at some point I decided that, I mean, with the maybe heavy, it was like this, I used like that, was okay, was happy. But now with, for example, with unit like this Morning Star, you have also this kind of MIDI wave LFOs. So instead of using the normal fade swell command, I'm sending a MIDI LFO to control the loop volume, so that and the funny thing is that with the fade, I programmed it that the fade out, I programmed it that after the fade out, the loop goes automatically into stop, and then when I will fade in the loop, I first send a play function, and then comes the fade in volume as well. And I mean, this is a combination of two different commands. Another thing I decided to program, which is really handy, for example, you wanna do synced loops, and on the second one maybe I need a double bar loop. So I programmed this button that when I'm on a void loop, by holding this button, what I'm doing, I'm sending out a play message which will create the void track plus the double command, so that on a push of a button I can create my double bar loop. Okay. And I mean, these are simple examples. Then of course, for example, I mean, we have as you know, you have the reverse and the half speed separated. Here, for example, what I did was like, I combined both functions on one foot switch, so that with a push of a knob I have both the reverse and the half speed on the same push button. Other example of special stuff is, for example, I have a bank where I have all these special effect manipulation things, and I mean, by trial and error, for example, I discovered that if I use the shrink command together with the half speed, actually I can create a loop which has the same tempo speed as the original loop, but pitched an octave down. So I created this octave down function, which is actually sending an half speed and a shrink together to the same loop. And of course, to bring it back to octave up, I did the contrary, so I have the half speed, yes, and then it's combined with the stretch. Of course, the stretch, and that's why I love the stretch, it can be really erratic and destructive on a way, so I mean, the result it's a bit low fire than the original, but I mean, I like it that way. I mean, if you wanna do the same and have a loop which will go back to the normal pitch, you can do other stuff. For example, using the undo, it's an example. I mean, actually the combination you do it's all up to you. I mean, and it's a really cool creative process. For example, on the stretch and the shrink, I realized that, I mean, when you are recording, you can't apply the stretch, for example. So what I did was just like combine the stretch together with a play command, so that also when I'm in rec, then I come to the point, I'm happy with the loop. like this I go straight into play with a stretched loop, a bit like when you play, when you are recording and you push the reverse, similar. The cool thing of this play command is that it takes action only when the loop is stopped, or you are still recording, or the loop is void. When the loop is playing normally, I can anyhow apply my commands, and this doesn't affect the play status of the loop, which is a really cool feature actually. Okay, and I mean, these are a few ideas how you can customize your MIDI commands to control the unit, and I hope it help you to get some idea and hints how to combine everything and create a different operations and functions of the unit. So, take care!